네, 세라님 잘 들려요.
We respectfully request the Sangha great virtues for the sake of this assembly and all living beings. Please turn the wonderful Dharma wheel to teach and guide us how to end birth and death, leave suffering and attain bliss, and quickly realize non-birth. Cung thính đại đức tặng thịnh, vì thứ Phật vội cập nhật thiết chúng sanh. Tịnh duyên diệu pháp giao đạo hạ môn, như há liêu sanh thoát tư ly khổ đạc lạc, tất chứng vô sinh. Homage to the Blessed, Noble, and Perfectly Enlightened One. Nam mô Sananto Suchedo Ye La Hadi San Miao San Puto Ye. Nam mô Tathagata Toya Daya La De Tamyo Tambo Da Toa. The unsurpassed, profound, subtle, and wonderful Dharma in 100,000 million aeons is difficult to encounter. Now that I'm able to see and hear, I will receive and maintain it. I vow to fathom and thus come one's true and actual principles. Wu sheng 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 wei miao fa bai jian wan jie nan zao yu. 我今见闻得受持，愿解如来真实义。O Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, Great Master Qingliang, Great Master YongHua, all good monks and nuns, and all good no advisors, Emitofuo. Chư Phật Bồ Tát, kính thưa Thánh Lương Đại Sư và Thượng Viên Hóa, quý thầy cô và quý vị thiện tri thức A Di Đà Phật. Chư Phật Bồ Tát, Chính Nhãn Đại Sư, Sư Phụ Sang人,各位出家人，各位善知识，阿弥陀佛。Okay, hello everyone. Today is the 21st of August, 2022. We're here in Dharma Treasury to continue discussing the first chapter of the Avatamsaka Sutra. Okay, there's some of you who are new here, first time at the temple. Welcome, and we're glad to have you. And all of you, of course, nice to be here with you again to continue discussing here the very beginning of the most profound sutra in Buddhism from our perspective. It is the highest form of wisdom, highest form of knowledge. In what sense? In the sense that it's describing the universe of as we live in. And as we cultivate, you find out that we will go beyond your comprehension, your wisdom, your seeing, your witnessing, and verifying all this knowledge that the Buddha is giving us in the sutra will be realized. That is, this is really truly the highest kind of wisdom that I'm afraid to say that mankind will never be attained, will be able to achieve given their worldly approaches. Okay, it requires transcendental approaches because this is a lot further than our sense organs can possibly see and grapple with. Okay, it requires true wisdom. That transcends the human limitations, if you will. Now, this particular chapter 1 here, it talks about the world rulers, the rulers of the world. And what about those rulers of the world? They're describing the adornments of these rulers of the world. When you are rulers of the world, when you are have social statuses, naturally you will have adornments. Unlike us in America, we go around in, what do you call it, jerseys, okay, hooded jerseys, jackets. The world rulers would never do that, okay. They are, because of the nature of their virtues, nature of their accomplishments, the nature of their blessings, they naturally have these adornments that are out of this world. Yeah. Very much like for us poor people, we have no clues. I just heard of it recently, that for the ultra rich, I don't know you know this, the ultra rich, when they wear a t-shirt, how much do you think a t-shirt costs them? And the maker of these T-shirts are really unknown. You never heard of it. No one here knows about these designers and manufacturers at all. They're not for the masses. Okay. And how much would a T-shirt cost? A T-shirt a young man there wears, $3,000. That's my whole annual budget for food. One T-shirt, $3,000. I wonder what his shoes would cost. Anyway, so you see, so the point here is for these people to spend $3,000 on the T-shirt, which is normal. For us, it's outrageous, right? So same thing in the world rulers here. They are so powerful, they're so wealthy, they're so blessed, they're so rich. Their taste is so exquisite that their adornments are really out of this world. And the adornments, furthermore, also reflect the crystallization of their countless acts of virtues. in order for them to become world rulers, they had to do certain things lifetime after lifetime after lifetime for so long that by the time they accomplished these practices, they perfected these practices, they accrued so much virtue, so many blessings, that to spend $3,000 on a T-shirt is no big deal. Okay, or to spend for them to be seen with all these wondrous, wonderful adornments is sort of fait accompli, meaning French, meaning that it's a done deal. Okay, it's natural. You're born with that. You're born very much like we're born with the eyes and ears and nose, and some of us have such a killer cheeks and so forth. Okay, it's just the way who we are. That's the nature of our blessings, if you will. Okay, so we just talked about, so far, we're on slide 629, we talked about the heavenly princes of the sun. Okay, so these are the rulers. They have jurisdiction over the suns of throughout the universe, if you will. Okay, their territories spans galaxies, if you will. Because each galaxy has a sun, typically. Okay, and you're not going to become prince and ruler of the sun if you only rule over one sun. Yes. So you see, the range, the jurisdiction of these celestial princes, the heavenly princes, are humongous throughout the universe. Many, many galaxies. Or in Buddhism, we call that Buddha world, or world, in short. So far, so good. So wouldn't you like to know what it's like to be, what they look like and why they chose to have such adornments? So anyway, we went through those, and typically here, because there's too many of them, and our attention spans are very limited, so the short version of this highest level wisdom here for mankind in the universe is they only listed 10 representative world rulers of this particular group of world rulers. Okay, and so they said these and others acted as the leaders of countless number of celestial princes of the sun. Okay, next, 628. And they all cultivated diligently in order to benefit sentient beings and increase their good roots.
皆勤修习，利益众生，增其善根。
Okay, now 629 commentary. Again, how did they become world rulers? These princes, heavenly princes of the suns. So they cultivated diligently. Wait a minute, we did that already. Why didn't we update this slide? We talked about this last time. I remember this. How do you increase good roots? Okay, sorry. Let's forget it, okay? Let's go to the next group. 631. Moreover, there were countless kings of the heavens of the 33.
复有无量33天王。
Commentary. Next group of world rulers, the rulers of the universe, of the various worlds, of many worlds, who were gathered there to listen to the ultimate wisdom in the universe. You see, that's what they do. The world rulers, and therefore the places they frequent are really special places reserved for those who know about them, have access to them. For example, I went to Korea and in May, and one of my disciples, she took us to cafes where you need to be, they let you in only by invitations. Okay? And the password And so we went there. It's very impressive. A floor, the whole floor, just for us. And they serve tea and green tea and regular tea, and with the dessert, Korean style. And it's so neat, it's so exclusive. And on the way out, they would exhibit these fancy pu'er tea. The Koreans, they really appreciate the pu'er tea from China, Chinese pu'er tea, the best in the world. And they were very proud, and this collection of things. And it's interesting to be able to expose that kind of culture. So they serve you certain kinds of sweets that you suppose, little things in front of you that you're supposed to consume along with the tea. Okay, it's very Korean, very, very snotty, if you will. I'm sure something that Sangwoksuni would never heard of, would never be able to access. Okay, and so after we finish the experience, and so my disciple asked me, "How did you like it?" I said, "Oh, I love it. I've never been, to such exclusive places." And she says, "It's okay. It's okay. You want to come back? All you have to do is tell them that." So there's a password. Okay, there's a password that you call in. And they don't take reservations unless they know you or you referred by the people they know. Okay? Very exclusive. So they told me, I can't tell you in public here, they said, in the future, if you want to go there, just call them and say, you sent by the sisters. Okay? And that's by referrals only. Yeah. How did we get here again? Okay, I got distracted. Now, heavens are the 33. Okay. Maybe a little too much of some of you. Okay, I'm warning you. So listen with this with a, it's sort of like humorous mind. Don't be offended, don't take it seriously. But this is what we Buddhists know about, you guys don't know about, especially Catholic and Christians. Okay, so I'm warning you. If this becomes offensive to you, plug your ears. We know about this, but the rest of the world, the non-Buddhist world, doesn't. The Taoists don't know about this. The Christians, Catholics, Mormons, and so forth don't know about this. The Christian God, as we call it in English, is what we call the King of the Heaven of the 33. So in Buddhism, we recognize the Christian God as a very important member in a hierarchy of those responsible of keeping the world orderly. Okay, did you know? And this is Asian knowledge, Asian wisdom. Did you know that in Asian culture, especially Chinese culture, I read this, they say that mankind is ruled over by the gods. Okay? We are not rulers of the world as we think. That's why in a Chinese culture, they call the emperors the sons of gods, right? Okay? So they recognize that kind of authority. They're the sons of gods. Okay? Or in the Maya culture, what do you call yourself? The Sun King or something like that? Huh? Or in Egypt, the pharaohs are like the sons of the god of the sun or something. Okay, so in a various culture, there's such this concept where we are overlooked. We are looked over by the gods, by the heavens. So especially Chinese is very accurate because the Chinese were under a lot of Buddhist influence. So a lot of these Buddhist things leak down to the Chinese culture. So in the Chinese culture, they know that we may have emperors and presidents of the mankind, the Putins of the world, Hitlers of the world, but they actually still are under the jurisdiction of the gods. Okay, in particular, this God called Heaven of the 33. Okay? What does it mean? This because this heaven here has 33 different sections. Okay? Each 4 directions has 4 heavens. So, for example, 4 heavens on the east side, 4 heavens on the western side. West, which way is west? Okay, this way. Yeah, that's right. 4 heavens on the northern side, northern direction, and 4 heavens in the southern direction. So far, so good. That's 32. And one more in the center of all those heavens, okay, spread out, is the heaven of the king of all those 33 kings. Okay? And that, who it is? It is the Christian God as we know it. Or, for the Taoists, Chinese Taoists, they call it the Jade Emperor. So it goes by different names. The Mormons call him Allah. Is it Allah? Any Mormons here? I don't have a lot of affinities with Mormons. Anyway, so it's heaven of 33 here. So altogether, there are 33 different heavens, okay? And the central one belongs to the king of those kings of the heavens. Okay? That's why 33. And these kings, these heavens of 33 are actually have a very strong affinity with mankind. And that is why he's known, this Christian God king here is known to have very strong affinities with us, humankind. And so what he does is that he very friendly, very caring, very nurturing, and he encourages us to come and take advantage of his kindness, his generosity. And that's why, in general, a lot of men in the human world, women here as well, they are very drawn to that. Okay? Mm-hmm. So yes, in Buddhism, we recognize the existence of the God, contrary to the some scientists or scholars who claim that what's the proof of God? In Buddhism, the Buddha says, yes, in that heaven of 33 right there, that's where that God that we humans call Christian God or Catholic God. So far, so good. Okay? Now, going back to slide 632, this heaven 33 is also called Trayastrimsha, which is 33. Okay, and that's Sanskrit for 33. On top of Mount Sumeru. Mount Sumeru is the tallest mountain in our world. If you open your spiritual eye, okay, a world here, okay, in Buddhism refers to a galaxy. So in this sutra here, only in this sutra, will you find the clear description of the cosmos. This universe, as we know it, is actually described here in this sutra by the Buddha, because he used the Buddha eye and he can see to the infinity. Whereas the bodhisattvas and people lower level, they cannot see to the end of it. And that's why the Buddha says, in order for you to become just like me, a Buddha, you better know what this is about, okay? And I teach you how to practice in order to verify for yourself. And that's Buddhism. We're not talking. We talk to tell you about some of the highest level wisdoms or knowledge that you will be trained to verify for yourself. Don't take my words for it. My words are just for myself. For what I do is for my own use, my own benefit, and it's just mine. It's not yours. But you can have what I have, or even better, by developing it yourself. And the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas are very generous. They don't hold back. If you ask for it, if you want it, they will teach you freely. Okay? That's how it is with us. All right. So this world here, or this galaxy here, if you open your spiritual eye, you see that the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, they see that there's in the center this galaxy, there's a structure called the tallest mountain or Mount Sumeru. Sumeru is Sanskrit that translates into wonderfully high. It's the tallest mountain in each galaxy. So you see, from galaxy to galaxies, okay, it's spiritually, you open your spiritual eye, it's structured like that. You have a Mount Sumeru, okay? Remember that, because in the future, you will see it yourself, okay? The Mount Sumeru in the center, and Mount Sumeru looks like an inverted triangle, okay? So the top is bigger than the base, okay? And on four sides are the four continents. Where we live is called the southern continent, okay? Where we wonderful people live. And then there are three more continents. For example, a northern continent would not have any Buddhism at all. So we live in the ideal continent, the best place for us to live, to exist. Okay, so this Mount Sumeru here, okay, is attached to our world, and the top of Mount Sumeru is where this heaven 33 is. So physically, the heaven, the Christian heaven God, actually is connected to us. Okay, and beyond that, now the inhabitants or dwellers of the higher level heavens, they will be floating in space. Kind of cool technology, They float the entire heaven in space. Whereas the heaven 33 are attached to it, physically attached to us via this Mount Sumeru. So far, so good? All right. Next, 633. Specifically, there were celestial king Shakra Indra.
所谓释迦因陀罗天王。
634. Shakra, okay, it depends how you spell it. This is, I think, Sanskrit writing or alphabet. Okay, Shakra here means able. Indra is ruler, so it's able ruler. So Shakra is a very capable ruler, very competent ruler, is a very kind, benevolent ruler. If you are a ruler, you have to be benevolent. Okay, and he's be listed first because he's most influential about these rulers of this group. Okay. 635, celestial king, universally praised, full voice.
普称满音天王。
636, next celestial king of the heaven of 33 is called universally praised, full voice. Okay, so this, the one characteristic about the kings of the 33 is that they take it very personally. Unlike the kings and presidents in our world, they here primarily serve themselves. Okay, these heaven of 33, due to the nature of the fact they are God beings, the gods up there are actually good-hearted. You cannot be a god born up there in the heavens unless you have a good heart. You have an evil heart, you cannot stay in the heavens. Is it clear? This is a distinction. Here in the human realm, it's half and half. We have good-hearted, the other half is black-hearted or Indian-hearted. Today we had Indian pizza, so sorry, I'm still stuck on Indian pizza. Why do I call it Indian pizza? Did you guys enjoy the Indian pizza or not? Yesterday, I think it's called Little Caesar's pizza. Okay, we got a bunch of those boxes given to us yesterday. And then today we thought we shared with you here in San Francisco. So reheated it with in the oven, and temperature a little bit too high. So it became from Little Caesar's pizza became Indian pizza. So, did anyone try it? Is it taste better today than yesterday or not? Oh. Okay, never mind. So how do we get here, by the way, again? I got sidetracked, so please bear with it. So these kings, these gods, these Christian kings, or these kings of the heavens of 33, they're very kind-hearted. They really care for us. It's not put on. It's not a facade at all. They care for us as much as we care for our own children. Really, that's how they feel towards us. And this is what our emperors, our presidents, our rulers are supposed to be. You know, they're supposed to really care for their people as if they would care for their own children. Okay, and that's why they're called rulers. That's why they're good rulers. If you're not, then you are not a good ruler for very long. You cannot be a ruler for very long. Okay, so these were rulers of the heaven of 33 type here. They really care for us humankind underneath them. Okay, they rule over us. Okay, so for example, in a Chinese literature, you know, China, it's a big country and have different levels of education, and so just like everywhere else, you have good people and bad people. And there's a particular person here who live in rural China, who is very, very rich, and he made his fortune by what? By selling rice. For some reason, the Chinese like rice, and they eat a lot of rice. So the rice merchants are very, very rich. Okay, they hoard all the rice thing and sell it by these boxes or containers. And how does this guy make even more money selling rice? What he does is he put the rice into water, okay? And the rice then absorbs the water, okay? So it becomes heavier, okay? And then...
So I think it is a lot of rice.
Yeah, so it's heavier. They sell by the weight.
Oh,
So for example, if I were to sell you, okay? I make more money when I feed you up, I make you fat. I make you eat more. You see? So that's why the same thing. Usually when you sell things, hey, come, yeah, might as well join the party. Yeah.
A party?
Yeah, a party, yeah. Yeah, that's right. 打坐. What did you say? That's my toy. Mini me, remember? Okay, so anyway, sorry I got sidetracked. So this rice merchant here soaked the rice in water and then let it dry a little bit outside, so it looks dry outside, but inside it's pretty wet. It's still wet.
Oh, so it looks very heavy and it is heavy?
No, it doesn't look heavy. Here's the trick I've done. I mean, I can show you how to do it and make more money. You put the rice in water, and then what I would do is I put it out under the sun, okay? And the sun with the heat, especially nowadays when it's 100 degrees heat here in California, that hot sun will dry up very quickly. So outside is dry, but inside is still have moisture, water moisture. So that's heavier.
So it's heavier?
Yeah, it's heavier.
Yeah,
That's right.
because you sell by the weight, so it's a
That's
lot of
right.
money.
You make more money. And that's how he cheated his customers. I don't recommend you do that. It's not a nice thing to do, okay? We good people don't do that. We steal from the bad people, but we don't steal from good people, right? Like Robin Hood. All right, that's Mahayana, by the way. We don't steal, but sometimes we do.
Why?
Because it's a good thing to steal from bad people.
Yeah.
See, this boy has wisdom. Someday you understand. You need to eat a little bit more. Okay, so anyway, and so this guy here is making a lot of money. He became very, very wealthy. He's so wealthy, he franchised it. He sold it, with that trick, with so many villages, and he became so rich. And one day he was walking, and lightning struck him. Okay,
Wait.
and he's dead.
Oh, so straight.
Yeah, lightning struck him dead. Okay, and the clothing in his back is burned. This is told by Master Shenhua. I didn't make this up. You didn't hear about this? What, you boring person? You've been reading all the wrong stuff. So Master Shenhua told this story. He said, when they discovered his body, his back, turn around, honey. Okay, his back here is all burned.
Oh my God.
All burned. Okay, and there's some kind of things that you cannot read, and everyone, what is that? And back then there's no ambulance, so they just left the body there. Okay, the guy died like that.
Why?
It's dead.
Yeah, because the lightning struck them.
Yeah, that's right. Very good. See, he understands.
I know, but
Can you talk to her, please? So the guy's dead, and there's some sort of scribbling on the back, and no one could understand. So everyone's standing around there and discussing and say, there is a heavenly message. Because in Chinese culture, they know that God can punish you by sending you a lightning strike. Heard that before? Huh?
yes.
In Asian culture, and you guys pay attention, when you become a bad person in the future, God might send a lightning to strike you, okay, to punish you, okay? And so, and they were sitting there, and they didn't know what the message was, and so until someone came along, okay, and took out this Chinese pen.
Okay.
They hold it like this,
Oh, like that.
Yeah, all like that.
So,
Yeah.
so like this.
I've never held one before, so.
Like those brush.
Yeah, those brushes, very good. But when I use brush, I use it like this. I don't hold it like this.
Use like that.
Yeah, okay. So anyway, so he held this, and so they take the Chinese brush and drew a line along the spine. And it says, the message then became clear. It says, this man here is an evil person, soul rise with, so the heavenly message spelled out his trick. And he's being punished for being an evil person. Ooh. There you go. Okay?
Wait.
So that's why.
Is this soggy rice
The heaven of 33, the gods up there, they really are ruling over us. They're watching over us. They watch things, the bad things we do. So you don't want to do bad things, boys and girls. Okay? Anyway, so this particular rulers of those gods of the heaven of 33 is called universally praised, full voice. Okay, meaning that his virtuous conduct, he's a very virtuous person, and he did so many of them, so that the other gods of the heaven 33, his peers, recognize him. You know what it means? People usually, I need to share this with you. A lot of people, too often, to be honest with you. People come to me and say, Master, I'm an engineer. Master, I'm an accountant. Master, I'm a marketing person. Master, I'm a financial analyst. Master, I am a doctor. Master, and so forth. I'm master. I am very upset. I said, what's the matter? He says, I just got stolen. I was discussing the project with my co-worker, my colleague, and then lo and behold, as soon as we finished talking about it, she went to our boss and claimed that she came up with a new idea, and it's my idea. How upsetting! I'm so depressed, and this is not the first time. It keeps happening repeatedly, time and time again. It's okay, let him be. Don't worry about it. Don't be afflicted. He's not. Are you afflicted? Okay? So, but the Chinese culture, they avoid, getting noticed.
Avoid the rice problem.
Yeah, and then it's just, don't look at me. Don't pay attention to me. Yeah, that kind of thing. That's very Chinese. The Vietnamese, look at me. Anyway, so where were we again? What? Stealing ideas. Oh, thank you. You were listening. I really appreciate it. So it happens repeatedly with so many professionals who came to me and complained and cried and said, "Why life is so unfair? And why is it? What do I do about this? I'm a Buddhist. What can I do?" So I said, I was from the other side. I was managing people at some time as well, and that's how it is. It turns out that professionally, you should use the fact that you should do the 100 good deeds and maybe get noticed once. That's how life is. Why are you so petty? Stop being so petty. Come on being so worried about yourself. And that's Jumi's thing. Jumi said, I did one good thing, Master, do you know that? No, in America, we do 100 good things and maybe we get noticed once. And that's professional life, by the way. Okay? So that's why I tell all these people, and please don't come to me about this kind of problem again. Okay? I really don't have a lot of time anymore to talk about the same problem over and over. Master, it's so unfair. I got robbed again of a brilliant idea. I tell them, get a few more brilliant ideas. So meditate. You get so many more. Anyway, so many you want to give them away for free. And so I said, don't be so petty. Give, okay? Because in Buddhism, when you give, you never lose. Those who steal things from us, steal ideas from you, steal things from us, they owe us. Nothing to worry about. They have to pay it back. And that's called cause and effect. So don't worry. Let them. Just give. Just help. All right. So this universally praised here, this king here of the heaven of 33, is recognized by his virtuous conduct, by his peers, meaning he did so many. We're not talking about get noticed once every 100 acts. His level is once every million acts. Okay? That's why they become gods and rule over us. And so they're praised and admired by his peers throughout the universe, lots of them. That's why he became known as king, universally praised. And furthermore, personally for him, he has a full voice. Okay, the voice is resonant and it goes very, very far. That's an indicator of your strength and your blessings. Your voice. 637. Celestial king, compassionate eyes, and precious cow.
慈目宝髻天王。
Okay, commentary. This next representative world ruler were officially allowed to sit amongst the dignitaries who were listening to the sermons of the Buddha with respect to this particular sutra. Okay, so this is where the who's who showed up, and when they showed up, they are able to sit. The world rulers are the one who can sit; they have a seat, whereas low-level public officials, they stand far, far, far back, standing room only. Okay, so this next king here has. Go ahead, Wei Mountain.
Thank you, Master. I have a question. Is, like, for example, the chakra Indra or Emperor Jade is like a title? So, I mean, like, in the other worlds, there's the same title and there's someone taking care of that?
Title, what title? You mean Shaka Indra?
Yes.
Yes. It's not uncommon for the other god kings to use the same name, have the same name. Okay? It's just like the Buddhas have the same names. Bodhisattva has the same name. And those names are basically the same thing as we call our children David or James. It's a good name. So people like it. But they're not necessarily the same. All right? Does it help? Okay. So he has his very kind, compassionate eyes. You look into the eyes, all you see is kindness and compassion. It shows, that the kindness, compassion shows through his eyes. Okay. For example, children. What I noticed in our temple, the children, because we Buddhists, we don't really look at we don't stare at people, okay? And this is not what we do. And particularly now I'm a lot more liberal. But when I was first started at my master's temple, Chinese temple, you would never look at someone directly into the eyes like us worldly people. Worldly people, when you talk to people, you're supposed to look at people in the eyes. If you don't, then they think that you have something to hide. You're dishonest. Yes? Same thing with Spanish culture. Yes or no? Yes? Yeah? Oh, they're all sleeping. That's okay. Yeah. La siesta time. Okay. Yes, Daniel. Is it true? In a Spanish culture, you're supposed to look in the eyes too? Europeans do. Many are from Europe. So anyway, so in a Chinese culture, especially in the Buddhist Chinese temples, we don't look at people's eyes at all. We rarely look at people's eyes. So initially, when I became a novice monk, I was trained to avoid looking at people's eyes. So all the monks in his temple, they all talk to you. Okay, they always, like if you're here, they always look. They all talk like this. They never look directly in you. So I pick up on the habit. The way they look is that they glance at you and they go like this. It's never staring. Okay? For us, we're people in the world, we stare at each other. Like Wen Qun, when she talks to her peers and colleagues and subordinates, yes? You look at their eyes, right? And no, in the Buddhist world, please don't be offended by that, quite often the monks and nuns avoid looking at you in the eyes. Okay? And that's called purity. Believe it or not. But it's not true. Later, after I left his temples, I went to a lot of Taiwanese and Chinese temples and Vietnamese temples. They all look you in the eyes to express their sincerity and their caring. Okay, and later I started teaching, so I didn't decide whether should I go with the my master style or the other style.
Master, I'm wondering, is that not a cultural habit, social, as opposed to really something ascribed to as spiritual habit? In other words, most Asian people are in cultural, social settings. Aren't they trained to be polite and not look in your eyes?
Yes, that's a good question. I don't know. I'm confused, to be honest with you. I'm a hybrid. I'm Vietnamese, but I don't like Vietnamese culture. Went to French. I was enamored of French, and the French rejected me. So I said, "You're not French enough." So I'm confused. Okay, that's my identity. So I don't know. So Asians, please help me out. Or non-Asians, help us out. Let's talk about this. Is it a cultural thing for you to look into people's eyes when you talk? Huh? It's sort of customs, right? Okay. Thank you for your participation. Moving on. So Brady, since they are unanimous about it, I think it's a cultural thing. Okay, they unanimously allow me to talk on their behalf by their silence. I don't know. Sunims, Korean Sunims, the Korean Sunims are scared of me. So now when I talk to them, they say, "Yes, master, no master, yes, master, no master." Korean Sunims, are you awake? Look at them. Of course I am. Do you look at people in the eyes? Your generation. One tech. Yes, you do, right? Shorty, do you look at people's eyes? I know your master looks at people's eyes. What about you? Because you look in my eyes for so long, I'm tired. He says, "I have this favorite disciple of mine. Can I send her over to the U.S. to study from you? Okay. And after a year I come, and I send her back. And she has all these big plans." She didn't know that Sang would never plan to go back. Do you look at people's eyes? You do? Okay. We Westerners are trained to look into people's eyes, and now the Asians are forsaking their own cultures, adopting more the Western values. Yes, and therefore, I think that looking at people's eyes is more or less a standard nowadays. Wei Mountain.
Yes. You have to grant me the fact that I'm many years older than most people here, so let me interject that also American culture seemingly dictates that those that you converse with that don't look you in the eye when they're talking, they're to be a little bit, what's the word? You can't trust them or suspect.
Yes.
If somebody is conversing with you and they're not looking at your eye, your mind is going to tell you, well, can I trust this person? Are they lying?
Yes. I agree. I think Mary Jo will agree with that. Your crazy patients, they all behave that way, right? I mean, it's pretty standard behavior for the modern times. I'm talking about our world where it's a different kind of world. There's a reason why we don't look at people's eyes. It's because it causes problems for us. Because later I understood why not. And you don't look at people's eyes because it stirs their souls. You don't know that, do you? For you, for outside, for normal people, you look at people's eyes because it's not just a trust, Brady, it's that connection. And what you don't realize is that you establish a bond, you create a bond when looking at people's eyes, okay? And for us, it's very obvious because we are skilled, we are trained to become, to harness our strength, and therefore mentally, because of our Chan training, we're stronger than you. Okay? So that, and we express our strength through the eyes. It's the very easiest way to exhibit is your eyes. Okay? And particular, and it's connected to this kind and compassion eyes here. This Bei Mu, the compassion eyes here, because for this particular heavenly king of the 33, you look into his eyes, and naturally in your heart you feel that this guy is very compassionate. Because of his strength, his compassion, it goes through the air and get into you, and you naturally receive that message, sense the compassion from him. Okay? Now imagine that instead of compassion, let's say this person says, I would like a red car. And he looks in the eyes and say, how are you? And because of that desire right there, all of a sudden you, on your side, say, I feel like giving him a car. I don't know what color, maybe red or something. I can't make up my mind. And so what happened is that because of that strength of the mind from these people, okay, they reveal, they exhibit it through their eye. For their eyes. That's why we learn not to look people in the eyes unless we influence them in a way that we're not aware of, that we don't want. Okay? So usually, Waymount, I'm going to come to you. So usually, what we do in our world, I'm teaching you Sunims and young people, you look people, you glance at them like this. You see? You don't ever... But when you do this, you actually are like printing your thoughts, your soul into someone else's. Mary Jo, contradict me. Huh? When you look, when you focus on someone like this, then you actually are stamping. You're creating a stamp, your own stamp on someone's soul. So we try to avoid doing that ourselves. Was that clear? Yes, Waymount.
Mô Phật Thầy, con nghĩ Thầy nói đúng. Tại hồi xưa con có nghe nói, tuy rằng phong tục của Trung Quốc, người Hoa thì nó hơi cũ lĩ một chút, giống như người với người bình thường nói chuyện thì mắt thẳng mắt không có sao, nhưng mà giống như những đối diện mấy người mà xuất gia tu đồ đó thì không có được phép như vậy. Ý là ngó thẳng mắt người ta đó là mình thiếu lịch sự, hay là ảnh hưởng người ta không được thanh tịnh. Vậy đó. Mô Phật Thầy.
Very good.
Emitofuo Master, I think what you say is correct. Because of the old traditional way of life in China, because we old people, usually when you look straight into people's eyes, normal people engage in normal conversation is okay. But when we as normal person looking at the monks and nuns, the left home people in the eyes, it is impolite to us. It is impolite and disturb their purity.
Yeah, it's so true. It's so YouTube question.
From Vicky, does cause a lot of problems. At school or work, I would look people right in their eyes. But with my husband, I just instinctively didn't look my husband in the eyes, and that made him really upset. I learned this from my mom talking to my dad, and I didn't even realize it.
Which Vicky are we talking about now? Before I make a comment?
Vicky Sprout.
Oh, Victorina. Okay, yeah. Of course, Michael is different. Michael is very straightforward. He's gonna tell you tell you what he thinks. Now, it's true though. There's one more aspect of it. Let me go to JMT first.
안녕하세요.
Okay. 안녕하세요.
제가 지금 참회를 하고 싶은데 참회를 해도 되겠습니까?
I'd like to repent. Is it okay to repent right now?
You better do now before I get going again. Now is a good time, in other words. After warming them up for an hour, this girl is smart. They were falling asleep. Hey, did you know that on the weekends when we have Dharma or lectures in the afternoon, the first hour is the hardest because everyone, what are you talking about? Oh, I ate too much today. Go.
먼저 마스터와 승가와 모든 제가자분들께 참회의 삼배를 올립니다.
First of all, I'd like to bow 3 bows for Master, Sangha, and lay people.
Looks like he prepared this thing here. In America, we have a cheat card, Now they're curious. What's going on? They say, oh, these Buddhists are strange.
또한 제가 이 시간 무릎 꿇어 참된 참회를 하기를 바랍니다. 제가 제가 지난 월요일에 그 누구와 상의하지도 않고 도움도 요청하지 않고 승가를 떠나겠다고 승가로부터 받은 모든 물건을 보산사에 가져다 놓고 다른 사람들의 도움을 모두 거부를 했습니다. 마스터께서 저에게 괴로울 때 먼저 도움을 요청하라고 이미 말씀하셨는데 그 지침을 따르지 않았습니다. 그 당시에는 도움을 요청해야 한다는 생각을 할 수 없었고 더 이상 견뎌내기 힘들다는 생각에 사로잡혔습니다. 얼마간의 시간이 지나고 나서야 마스터께서 언제든 도움을 청하라고 하신 말씀이 생각이 났습니다. 제가 겸손하지 못해서 승가자로서
해서는 안 될 바르지 못한 행동을 했습니다. 마스터와 승가의 스케줄에 방해가 되고 제가자분들께 방해가 되었습니다. 저의 겸손하지 못함을 무릎 꿇어 참회하며 여러분들의 인내와 용서를 청합니다. 저는 우울증이 있습니다. 현재 극복하지 못한 상태이고 앞으로도 우울증으로 인하여 잘못과 실수를 하게 될 것임을 미리 여러분들 앞에 참여하며 여러분들께서 넓은 아량으로서 저의 부족함을 참아주시고 용서해 주시길 요청드립니다. 마스터께서 제가 다시 승가로 돌아올 수 있는 기회를 주심에 두 손 모아 다시 한번 감사드립니다.
I'd like to repent with kneeling my knee and then repenting right now. For the last Monday, there was an incident. I didn't ask for any help. I didn't discuss with anyone. I just wanted to leave Sangha. And I left my belongings that I received from Sangha at JMT, and then I left. And I denied to receive help from others. I was only thinking about my suffering. And you told me if I suffer, I should ask for your help. But at the time, I could not think about asking for help, thought about only my own pain and suffering. So I just wanted to leave. But after a while, I realized and I remember what you told me about asking for help. I'm rude and I'm not humble. I'm very sorry that I obstruct Master and Sangha. And please, I'm asking for your forgiveness and please accept with your patience. I have bipolar. I'm sure in the future I'll make more mistakes because I have a bipolar. Please open your heart and forgive my mistakes. Thank you, Master, for giving me an opportunity to return to Sangha.
That's it? For all the pain, suffering, that's it? Okay, looks like she thought about this for quite a while. What happened is that for you, those of you who don't know, Xianan is the second senior nun of our Korean operations, and she didn't go through the training that the Korean Sangha typically goes through. They go through 5 years of worth of training and so forth. And I allowed her to live a home life and told her I would ordain her, but I will continue to train her. So she still has quite a ways to go. So I gave her some tips. I said the first stage of your training is resisting the urge to quit. It's a different world. You go into the world where you're told what to do. And people typically don't ask, don't give you a reason why. They simply tell you what to do. And so especially for an older person like herself, it doesn't make sense. She look at us and say, I have more wisdom than you. I've seen life, okay? And you telling me what to do with my life? Seriously? So it's very difficult for older people to undergo this. So I warn her is that the first phase is you have to go through these tests will create the urge for you to quit. And in contrast, for example, Venerable Xian Fa, who is more junior than Xian En, this lady here, Xian Fa went through 3 or 4 years of training programs in the Korean Sangha. So I look at her and say, okay, you understand what, that lesson, you don't quit, no matter what. No matter how difficult it is, no matter how nonsense it is, you don't quit. Okay? And so that's why I allow Xian Fa to become fully ordained very quickly. But I allowed Xian En to become fully ordained even before she was trained. So I had to warn her. I said, you don't quit. Okay, remember, and I know you feel the urge to quit. It's so compelling. You better call me. You better call someone. You better talk to Sangha, talk to your abbot, talk to me if necessary, so that you can get some help. But this time around, she's been fighting this and fighting this for quite a while. And this time around, she just quit cold turkey, didn't talk to anyone. And what she said is true. She's bipolar. So I knew that on top of not just for normal people, the training program for left-form people at first is very, very difficult to swallow. It's not easy at all, especially if you're not prepared for it. Typically, in an Asian system, you are not allowed to become a left-form person unless you stay in the temple for 3 years. Okay. So that you have a chance to see how we backward people live and how irrational we are, how egotistical we are, and so forth. And you say, I like to be like that. Then you have a chance. If you say, this is nonsense, this doesn't make sense, then you won't waste your life. Okay, so I understand that. So this Xian En here, she has been fighting very hard, but she's bipolar, and therefore whatever she experiences for a normal person is multiplied tenfold. Okay, and so this time around she had been fighting that, and she couldn't handle it, and she was under extreme great pain, and no one knew about it. This pain here is a tormenting from her bipolar ghosts. It's not physical. It's not something you can put on, you can put your fingers on. It's not something that you can use chemicals to treat. Okay, and there are some people, for example, in insanity wards, they're so crazy that they're drugged up, and they are put in these chambers, basically are put in prison, and they still manage to kill themselves or hurt themselves. Okay, that's how strong it is. Sometimes they're so strong that even chemicals or medication is not going to help. How tough it is. So you need to appreciate the fact that for these, especially bipolar people, for some of them, it's pretty painful, pretty drastic. So that's why she couldn't listen. She went crazy and she left. And I look at her and say, okay, goodbye. It's your life. You should do whatever you want. Who am I to tell you what to do? I only gave you advices, and you're not willing to take those advices. That's your life. You live with the consequences. But after a few days, she told me, a few days I calmed down and I realized my life has no meaning. I have nothing to look forward to. My children don't want me. So what am I going to do with my life? They want to have their own lives. So that's why she asked to talk to me, and I talked to her and explained to her that I know it's not you who quit. It's your ghosts who had to pull you away from me in order for them to have a chance to continue to be in charge of her life and make her lives miserable. Okay? Because we help a lot of people, bipolar people. So I understand how painful it is, how difficult it is for many of them. And track record-wise, a lot of our people are bipolar, and they some are more extreme than Xianen's case, and they manage to survive and actually do very well and lead a normal life eventually through the spiritual training, through Chan training in particular. So that's why there's hope. And many of them are around the temple. The one who left are still the crazy ones. And they turn around and bite me in the back, in the butt. But they'll be miserable the rest of their lives. That's my last laugh. Anyway, go ahead, Wei Mountain.
Master, I have a question in regards to the name. When you say Xin Fa, what does it mean in Vietnamese? I couldn't translate that. I just know Fa, but I don't know the meaning of it.
Dharma.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. And so that's why I talked to her and said, no, you need help. If you don't want to run away from me, you run away from me, they will always be able to manipulate your life. And you basically are a victim the rest of your life. So she thought about it, and she asked to come back. I said, when you come back, there's some conditions. You need to be honest about this and tell people that you need help. Because you don't, you create a lot of disruptions and problems. Okay, I was prepared to endure the bad publicity, the rumors spread. Here you go, Master mistreats his nuns, and Master Z mistreats his nuns, and so forth, and on and on and on. You know how people are; they can interpret any way they feel like. So I prepare for that. But what we're doing to allow you to come back is in order to help you. But however, in helping you, this will create further disruptions. That's why I asked her to consider repenting and also get demoted. So that instead of being the second most senior nun in a Sangha, Korean Sangha, now she's the lowest level nun in a Sangha. Okay, and go through public humility of having to apologize and to kneel and to ask for forgiveness and forewarn us that she's a crazy person. And we take her back, she'll do more crazy things. Okay? And it takes a while. It takes at least a year or two before hopefully it should be manageable. That's how difficult it is. What's the alternative? Be miserable until the day you die. Okay? We handle this very gently. There are ways to handle it a lot faster, but that causes problems instead of solving problems. All right, so anyone would like to say anything? Master Shua, you say, okay, now I need volunteers to chastise her, to insult her, and give her a hard time so that she doesn't come back. Master Old Monk, be discompassionate. I'm warning you. Look at me in the eyes.
A Di Đà Phật. Theo tôi thấy cái cô Hiền Ân á, khi mà tôi thấy cô xuất gia đó, tôi rất là mừng. Tại hồi cô là cư sĩ đó, tôi thấy cô qua bên đây cô làm việc rất là chân thành, nên khi cô xuất gia tôi rất là mừng. Thì bây giờ cô có khó khăn, ai cũng có khó khăn trong cái cuộc sống hoặc là trong cái mục đích của mình muốn hoàn thành mà nó trở ngại. Thì theo kinh nghiệm của tôi từ hồi cư sĩ cho đến bây giờ, cái người mà tôi tin tưởng nhất và từ bi nhất là như Phật dạy trong Phẩm Môn là Bồ Tát Quan Thế Âm. Khi cô khó khăn, cô đau khổ, thì cái người mà cô cần giúp đỡ nhất là Nam Mô Quan Thế Âm Bồ Tát.
Okay, stop. Let them translate. Too long.
Emitofuo, Master, I have been witness and observing Venerable Xin En when she was a lay person. I'm very happy that you become a left home. Because when you, as a layperson, you came to our temple, you cultivate whatever you do is very sincere. So I know that sometime in life, we go through a lot of difficulty. So based on my experience, the person foremost in compassion and kindness and compassion based on Universal Door chapter, Buddha.
Wait, yeah, stop. When I heard at that point, one thought immediately came to my mind. Me. And he had to say Guanyin Bodhisattva. You're so underappreciated. You don't know how tough it is. You girls, as you know, you're so sheltered. Anyway, sorry, continue.
So in Universal Door chapter, I've heard the name Quan Shi Yin Bodhisattva will rescue you from all of your suffering.
Tôi có kinh nghiệm như đó là nay tôi 78 tuổi rồi. Tôi có kinh nghiệm hồi tôi 13 tuổi cho đến bây giờ. Những cái gì nguy hiểm nhất, những cái gì đau khổ nhất. 11 năm, 12 năm ở trong quân đội, bao nhiêu nguy hiểm chết chóc rồi, bao nhiêu năm tù sau khi chiến tranh. Gia đình tôi tan nát hết. Rồi bây giờ vô tu nó cũng có những trở ngại giống như cô. Thì đây là cái kinh nghiệm Đức Phật Thích Ca dạy cho tôi không có đặt ra đâu. Tôi không có make up cái này. Cứ gọi và xin tha thiết, xin Quan Thế Âm giúp đỡ để cho cô đi cái mục đích của cô. Để cô cải tiến cuộc đời cô và để cô có khả năng cô giúp người khác. Đó mình tu là như vậy thôi. Xuất gia tại gia cũng một mục đích như vậy. Thì cái người cho cô sức mạnh và cho cô phước báo và người đó giúp cho cô đạt được cái điều đó bằng không có ai mà cái tâm từ bi bằng Bồ Tát Quan Thế Âm hết. Xin hết.
So I have an experience. My age right now, I'm 78 years old. I have been experiencing this since the age of 13. Whatever you're suffering, whatever in the most dangerous situation, so many years I have been through the prison times from pre-war, during war, and after. My family was completely destroyed. And I understand during our cultivation at this particular time is very difficult. This is not my word, but this is from Shakyamuni Buddha's mouth. Teach you about calling for help from Quan Yin Bodhisattva. Nobody is more compassionate than Quan Shi Yin Bodhisattva.
Okay, very good. Anyone else? Thank you. Okay, moving on. Then, okay, well, welcome back. Hang in there. Don't quit. No matter how painful it is, you rise above it eventually. Nothing to worry about. Okay, it's because we help worst case and yours. You just have to trust us. All right. Going back to slide 638, compassionate eyes. So this is what this celestial king, Wei Mountain.
Hello, Master?
Yes.
I have a personal question. I've been living with demons, and every night they give me dreams, but when they give me dreams, they wake me up. So what can I do so I wake up every 2 hours. What can I do to make them let me sleep 8 hours?
Oh, it's too complicated. You need a lot of help. Okay. I know you. I've seen you from Blue Mountain Temple. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. You have a lot of issues, and whatever I tell you is not enough, because it's not something you can handle by yourself. I don't want to give you false hope. This is too much for you. Just the same thing I just told Xienan, Venerable Xienan, that is way beyond her. She can be sensible right now with some point in time, the next year or two. They might pull the strings again and try to pull her away from us. That's the only way they can control her. They can retain control of her lives. Okay, so that's going to happen. And because she's going to experience great pain again, and she will find it so unbearable, she had to run away. Otherwise, she goes crazy. It's totally understandable. Okay, that's how they function. That's how they operate. So that's why when it's so unbearable, I told her, when it gets to the end of the rope for you, you better ask for help. But her nature is that she refused to ask for help. She's all her entire life, she's able to handle everything by herself. And she handled it by running away. You keep on running away from this, running away from that, and so forth. When every time you run away, you carry the same problem with you. When you stand there and fight and learn how to fight, learn how to bear it, that's how you solve the problem. Okay? So that's why a warning is that if you need my help, you want my help, and you need my help, because we have a track record of helping bipolar people, crazy people, depressed people, manic, and so forth. Okay? And when you get in those conditions and you need help, okay, you need to stick around. You need to ask for help, because it's way beyond you. I understand. That's how difficult it is. Okay, in his case, this gentleman's case here, he has so many issues, because whatever I tell him, another group will step up. Okay, so basically, it's not something he can handle himself. And he feels that he's been struggling all his entire life. That's not going to change. He needs help. He should go see a therapist. They put him on medication and so forth. He should try those things. And if not, they need our spiritual help. Okay? It's not something they can handle by themselves. So that's why I won't bother trying to tell him what to do. Because, again, if I tell him how to do this, next group will step up and say, hey, now, this is the kind of dreams I have. What do I do? And I tell you how to handle it. They say, but it's no longer a problem, but something else came up. Okay, it's on and on and on and on. Okay, you need help. And Xian got smart. She finally says her entire life she claimed that she never asked for help. She always knew that she had to figure it out by herself. And she figured it out by running away and carrying the pain with her to another spot, to another environment, that's all. Okay? So, I'm sorry, I can't help you. I can't give you advices. And I can't help you the way you want me to help you. Go get some help. Okay? Good luck. Okay, so this person, king here, this celestial king here, you look into his eyes and you feel your heart is filled with compassion. That's very special kung fu, you will. Because that's how he decided to help others. He says, when people meet with me and look into my eyes, their heart will be filled with the compassion, my compassion, so that they get some relief for the pain and suffering, so that they can have hope again. Okay? That somebody cares for them. Not like the rest of the world who only cares for themselves. They only want to benefit from you, from your weaknesses, from your ignorances. Okay? These eyes here, my compassionate eyes, should reassure you that I care for you and I feel your pain and suffering. And I'd love to help. Because your suffering, your pain is my pain. And that's a message. All you have to do is look into his eyes. And that's it. You understand all that. Okay? So that one look into his eyes, you receive all that message immediately. So that you have hope again. Way Mountain.
Master YongHua Emitofuo, I heard from Venerable Heng Shu saying that Master Xuanhua said, like when you walk outside, you don't look into people's eyes, especially you on the street, because you don't know if they were a human being or who you are dealing with. So I have been quite mindful of that because of that comment. Then, what do you think?
Hogwash. Translate. Oh, it's in English already. What is this thing walking outside and not looking in people's eyes because you don't know who you're looking at? I'm looking at you. I'm looking at her. What's the matter with you? You believe anything you hear from a guy who repeats it from someone else's, who God knows who he was teaching? People, for example, accuse me of being wishy-washy. Sometimes Master says this, sometimes Master contradicts himself. It's because I talk that way to a person who's pretty good. And then I meet another idiot. I say, this doesn't apply to you. So for you, the medication, the antidote is exactly opposite of that. Okay? So therefore, it depends. The instructions are very, very individualistic. Each instruction is geared towards a person. We are not Buddhas. So that's why we can only help specific people. So sometimes, for example, Master YongHua, I know this from personal experience. Sometimes Master YongHua, I keep on hearing these disciples because I came later. I came at the tail end of his life, teaching life, so he accepted me and then he left me. He taught all his disciples, never found it, deemed it worthy for me to be taught by him personally. So he let his disciples teach me. And I will never forget that, Master. You look down upon me. Anyway, so when his disciples repeated to me, they said, Master YongHua taught us the primordial virtue of a human being is filial piety. You need to take care of your parents. That's it. You're a human being. He says, I don't care what you do, but you need to take care of your parents. You need to be kind to them, need to say hello to them, need to show you care, take them to doctors, bring them to vacation with you, say, Chinese one as far as good morning in the morning, good evening in the evening, okay? And say, Mom, I'm going to work. And then, Mom, I just got back. Huh? And that's the extent of Chinese filiality. It's very extensive, okay? Very detailed. It's pretty remarkable. It's really a really excellent Chinese heritage, if you will. And now the Chinese don't have it anymore. It's still sad to see it, they're losing that treasure of humanity, what it takes to make you a human person. Okay, that's the Buddhist wisdom, if you will. So he taught that, and everyone bought into it. They're all Chinese, for God's sake. Okay, yellow-faced people. And then it came to my turn and said, filiality? But I don't like my parents. I never relied upon them. They don't like me, and so forth. And I have to be filial? I didn't understand it. But anyway, I said, because I'm learned from a Chinese, I might as well become Chinese. And so I learned, they adopted that. And someday in point in time, I realized that, wait a minute, the times when you cannot be filial. Agree? There's always exceptions. The words of the sage were twisted and misinterpreted. So that it sounds like 100% of the time you feel you and you feel you and feel you, because he was teaching a bunch of idiots. I finally realized that. Idiots who don't know better have to start with being filial. Once you have wisdom, filiality for people who have wisdom takes on different dimensions. Make sense? Yes? Once you're given instructions in order to get to a PhD level, once you get a PhD level, you are certified to contribute as you see fit and not follow the same path anymore, because you are a PhD. That's your role now. You expand the knowledge. So anyway, you see, so it's not, it's that rigid as you think. Their instructions are given to people differently, even to the same people at different times of their lives, of their spiritual practice. I told some of my people, I started teaching them at Blue Mountain Temple, I started teaching them about filiality. Yes, I did too, along the same model as Master YongHua. But now, I just told someone, hey, kick your uncle's butt. He's an idiot. You don't need to be filial to him, because you encourage him to be a bad person. So the instructions are to help them open their wisdom. Once they open the wisdom, then they should be more flexible and deciding what is better. Filiality now at their level is to help others, not to help themselves. When you are stupid, you learn to be filial in order for you to open your wisdom. Once you have wisdom, now filiality to you is in order to help others, not to help yourself anymore. Therefore, the method is different. The practice is different. The understanding is different. The objectives are different. Buddhism is never that rigid. So when Master YongHua said, you go out there and don't look at people's eyes because you don't know who you're looking at, and could be a ghost, could be human. I say, what kind of nonsense is that? I would never tell him that. I would never tell her that. I would never tell, oh, well, you is okay. You see, it depends on each person. And for you to say, Master YongHua, after I die, which won't be much longer, at the rate I'm going, burning the candle at both ends, one Southern California and one Northern California. Okay. It's not that rigid. So for you to repeat after I'm done, I died, that Master YongHua says, oh, don't ever yell at people or yell at people. It depends who you are. Come on, don't be so stupid. So it tells you that such people who repeats those instructions verbatim are still not there yet. It's not the middle way. The middle way is That's the middle way. The middle way is not like this. You don't say on the right side the lane or on the left side the lane only. You always move whatever is appropriate, where there is least resistance, wherever is optimal, what's best to help others. Okay? So that's why my answer, the question he asked me is, what do you think? My answer is, hogwash. Wait, my own question. I'm calm.
Master, I have a big problem also. With your great wisdom, could you help me see through this problem?
No.
I haven't said the problem.
I'm trying to save time. Your time. Go ahead. But I pretend to be compassionate first.
Okay.
I don't just say, why, this guy has so many facades.
Couple years ago, I ran into a lady. She was vegetarian, but then she got an illness, and the doctor told her that she needed meat. So she turned into like drinking like beef bone soup, pig bone soup to maintain her life. So that's one case. And then the second case happened recently. That's where I got in trouble. My dad's case, so my dad got really sick, and then he came back from the hospital, and my mom wanted to like cut fishes, make it into ground fish powder, and give it to my dad, and because he needed protein nutrient, and then to me it doesn't make sense because I am according to Buddhism, we know that you get sick because of past karma of eating meat. So it doesn't make sense to me to continue.
You get sick because you get near the person who has monkeypox as well.
So I said to my mom, it doesn't really help. We're trying to use Buddhism to help him, and when you do that, you're creating more and more sick karma for him. Then my mom got really upset, and I'm sorry, Master, I need to repent. I offended my mom. She got really, really depressed at that time.
Unfilial person, that's all I have to say.
I'm sorry.
Unfilial.
So what do we do in Buddhism? Are we really stuck on this situation? We try to practice Buddhism, we understand, and we get sick, we need to eat the meat to do more killing to continue our life, or to, like in my dad's case, I would need to support and kill fishes to help him so that he can bring back his health. What is going on with this situation? I cannot see through it. Are we supposed to continue to do that and be stuck in that? I don't know what's going on, Master.
What did I tell you? I can't help. Anyone who wants to help, the old monk was going to tell you, recite 1 yin. Old monk, help her out, because I can't help this woman.
Yeah, I don't know.
All of a sudden he became Korean. I don't know, Master. Yeah, go ahead.
So if I don't feed my dad protein meat, if he dies, then I'm responsible for killing my dad? So what do I do? Is that really true? Then I have a killing karma if that happened?
Remember your original fundamental teacher? On the other side of the tracks? Chinese side, not American? Why don't you go there and ask? See what they have to say. Anyone else would like to help her? Yes, spy number 4 here in Northern California.
Was her, Emitofuo Master. If I was her, then I will not do anything until they ask for my opinion. You shouldn't mix yourself into other people's decision, especially your mom and your dad. You can pray for them, but you should stay outside and listen. And until they ask for your opinion, then you can give your opinion. Our knowledge is very little. We have no wisdom, so we shouldn't tell them how to do things.
Anyone else? The reason I don't want to tell her anything is because once I tell her what to do, tomorrow she called me for another problem. And then the day after, another problem. And then the day after, another problem. She's very specific. She says, never mind about principle. Tell me yes or no. Okay? And besides, no matter what I say, she'll report it to her masters anyway, so it doesn't matter. And she can tell, that's what he told me. And it's all wrong. It's all against Master Xuanhua's teachings. I have proof now. He's a bad monk, as you already said. Go ahead, Wei Mong. He goes against Master Xuanhua's instructions. Take filiality, for example. He let his mother go to the house. Yes, she's in the house. Because I didn't lift a finger to help her. Yeah.
Mô Phật Thầy, theo con nghĩ, tuy rằng cha mẹ của mình, nhưng mà mình là con, mình cũng có cái ý kiến.
Number 5.
Giống như ba cổ là bị bệnh vậy mà tuổi cũng đã có rồi, 80 mấy rồi, nghe nó cũng 80 mấy rồi phải không cô? 80 mấy rồi, không có nên mà cho ổng ăn mặn nữa đâu, cho ổng ăn chay đi. Tìm cách nào mà hoa quả để cải đồ nó có cái chất dinh dưỡng, hầm canh cho ổng uống là được rồi, không có sao. Mọi người có cái số, sống là sống, chết là chết, không có vấn đề gì đâu. Giả tỷ mà nó có chết đi, mày cho nó ăn thịt, ăn này nọ, đi cũng đi à. Còn ăn chay nó không đi, nó cũng không đi đâu, hỏi lo. Miễn là đồ đạc hầm cho có đủ dinh dưỡng là được rồi. Không có cần phải ăn thịt với ăn cá đâu. Mẹ có để phải ý kiến cho người mẹ như vậy phải hiểu. Mô Phật Thầy.
See how kind she is. That's my disciple. That kind part.
Emitofuo Master, I think that for mom and dad generation, as a daughter, I still need to have an opinion. For example, with her dad's situation, he's 80 years old something, 80s of something. So she don't allow him to eat meat anymore. Instead, why don't you let him drink the soup that made from vegetable or fruit that had enough nutrition for him to sustain his life? Because each person, they all in the end have to die. Even though you eat meat or not, you still have to die. If at that time he has to die, it's his destination. Therefore, you need to tell your mom that she needs to understand this problem and don't let him eat meat anymore. Emitofuo Master.
Very good. So just one more commentary about, how can I let my own mother go to the house? What kind of person I am? Then ditto. What kind of person are you to let her go to the house? What happened to your compassion? Huh? You blame me of lacking compassion. What about you? Why didn't you do something about it? She's your kind. Huh? She's a hung. I'm no hung. I'm just a low life. Teach me. Show me I'm wrong. Rescue her and say, I saved your mother. I sent her to the Pure Land because I have compassion. You have zero compassion. And this is the proof that you have zero compassion. Therefore, your disciples should leave you and don't believe in you. Show it to me. Prove it to me I have no compassion and you have more compassion than I do. I may be not compassionate, but I do have more compassion than you, for sure. That's my message. And my compassion is not something you understand. Way Mountain.
I think that, or I would say that if it's gonna save someone's life, I don't think it's a bad thing for them to eat fish or any meat. I really don't think it's a bad idea. But if he wants to practice his faith in Buddhism, he should probably seek assistance with Buddhism. But in my own opinion, doesn't matter.
You guys think too much. This is what bothers me about you. You learn a little bit and you say, oh, I don't know, it's not right, it's not wrong. It doesn't, it doesn't make sense to me. What happened to your heart? What happened to this woman's heart? That's why I won't dare bother touching her. What happened to the heart? The father is dying. He says, I don't want to do wrong. I don't want to create karmas. If my dad is dying, I create karma. I go, I kill, I steal, I do whatever to help my dad. What is the matter with you? How dare you ask me questions? Your dad is dying. He's the one who brought you this world. Don't you feel you owe him something? You cannot let him die. No more I let my mother rot in the house. Wait. I'm not helping myself. You understand? What is the matter with you, spy number 2? Your father is dying, and he may not have much longer. Have you thought about it? That he endured you, that he put up with you for all these years. Now he needs help, and you say, let me think, it's against my Buddhist upbringing. It's against my beliefs. What kind of person are you? We're Buddhists. We have a heart, you know. How can you say you have a heart? How can you say you have compassion when your own father is suffering and say, no, it's against my principle to help you relieve your suffering? Say, what? Is that Buddhism? No, it isn't. Let me assure you. That's not my kind of Buddhism. Maybe their kind of Buddhism, but not my kind. That's why I told you, go back there and ask them. I disagree with you, ma'am. Spy and all. I mean, your father, come on, help him out. If he wants you to kill, go kill. What is the matter with you? What kind of person are you? Huh? It's your father. Doesn't that mean something? How dare you sit there and tell me it's against my principle, against the Buddhist teachings? It's your father. How can any Buddhist teacher tell you, let your father die, let him suffer and go to hell forever? What kind of teacher is that? You guys are too logical. Knowledge confuse you instead of helping you. And this is not just her, but that's what happens to us. Knowledge is helpful, but sometimes it gets us in trouble because we cannot parse, we cannot distinguish when It's applicable when it doesn't apply. Wisdom is different from knowledge in that sense. What this girl here talked about is knowledge. Somebody said so and so and so, therefore I should do. That's knowledge. Wisdom is the ability to know when to apply knowledge, when not to apply knowledge. That's why it's called wisdom. That's why we use different words. In Buddhism, we seek wisdom, we don't seek knowledge. Knowledge, you can pick out a book, and you can learn it off the internet. Yeah? You don't need us. You come here because we're trying to train you to open your wisdom, your knowledge. You're perfectly and fully competent to acquire by yourself. You've proven it so far. But wisdom is why you're here. And this is the proof right there. The world is full of knowledge, all kinds of knowledge, but very few people have wisdom. So that knowledge there, the worldly people seek, actually at times become harmful to them. They are confused by their own knowledge. Wei Mountain. Okay, no Wei Mountain. Cancel Wei Mountain. Sounds violent, doesn't it? I love brutality. Go ahead, Mr. Riddler.
I'll delete this tweet as soon as I post it, don't worry.
What tweet is that?
I'm being canceled, so. So you go to your dad and you say, Dad, today you get whatever you want. You can pick Fat Burger, Burger King, or McDonald's. And then your dad says, I want Burger King. And so you go to Burger King and you get your dad the Beyond Burger. Impossible Burger. Okay, thank you. If your dad says Burger King, you have an option there too. If your dad says McDonald's, it's a little more complicated. You go first to Costco, and then you get the Beyond Chicken or the Beyond Burger. You cook it up, and on the way to take it to your dad, you go to McDonald's. Then you buy a burger, but you take the burger out of the box, and you put the burger you made in the McDonald's box. Then you give that to your dad. And anyway, it's a win-win. Your dad gets what he wants, and you get, well, whatever.
And you only break precepts of Master YongHua, which doesn't matter anyway.
Because Master YongHua said you can lie, so you can just lie to your dad.
Yes, 6 over here. 6.
I saw Peter was going to go towards a different direction, so I'm a bit of disappointed. I was just going to help him. So I saw he's going to say.
The guy is unprincipled.
No, the start was great. So you gave him choices. He will say whatever, Burger King, and then you get him Burger King burger, and then next time something else, and then you just get a 49 days plaque, pre-49 days plaque, and then maybe get some kind of BOGO deal. I think Peter invented that word, like buy one, get one. I don't know if that deal is still around. Get one for your mom as well, and then they can eat whatever they want. So I wonder if Peter agrees with that story.
Okay, Peter has a reply.
Yeah.
You don't understand me.
Thank you so much, because that was option number 2.
Door number 2.
Option number 2, everybody's seen the war movies, right? And like the guy gets shot and like he's all bloody and he's like, oh man, I just want a cigarette. And so they give him a cigarette and it's like, I just want that one last drink. And so they give him the drink. And you can rest assured that that cigarette and that drink were not what killed that guy. So if it really comes down to it, Americans just give them what they want. That was not the nail in the coffin. You're okay.
There's some wisdom somewhere in there, American wisdom. Go ahead, spy number 2.
Okay, Master.
Speak your piece and we have to go quickly.
I got the Beyond Burger for my dad and he died. My mom kills me and say I'm unfilial for the rest of her life. And she come to the temple and tell Master, and I become unfilial to the whole temple. And I got kicked out by Master YongHua. And I'm also guilty of killing. So what do I do?
You go back to the other side. I told you already. Just leave Daniel here. We can still use him as punching bag. Damn you do, damn. Okay. Well, we can help you as I told you already. Okay. Thank you, everyone. We stop here today. Thank you all for coming.